Hi there, happy Thursday. So, this week's topic is going to be about being self made, also known as quitting your 9 to 5 or not having a 9 to 5. And then this is also the second to the last self care, self love topic. I have one more next week, and then we will be going into how real life scenarios that are associated with all of the self care, self love topics that we've discussed over the past 52 weeks will apply. So, anyway, getting back to the topic of being self made, I think many of us can dream about being our own boss or not have to work for a living, or, some people just come for money, that's great, but a lot of us do not. But being self-made, you have to ask yourself, are you really ready for that, right? Are you really ready to trade your comfort for challenges and your predictability for pressure, right? So today we'll be talking about that reality behind that question, can you really quit your 9 to 5? So leaving your 9 to 5 job doesn't mean that you're going to automatically be free, right? True freedom comes when your income, your peace, and also your sense of purpose are not tied to if you have an employer or not, right? So that's the first consideration to think about. And then we want to think about, what does it really mean to be self-made, right? So being self-made isn't just about being your own boss. It's about being your own motivator, your own manager, your own mindset coach. It's ownership, right? So it's ownership of your time, your effort, and also your results. And then you have to keep in mind, if that effort and also that time management isn't right, a lot of times that will show up in your results, meaning not in a good way. So you're responsible for your success. You're responsible for all of your setbacks as well. So you stop saying things like, you know what, I can't, and start saying, you know what, this is all on me. I got to figure this out, right? So it's freedom with accountability. So self-made isn't a lifestyle. It's a mindset built on consistency, creativity, and lots of courage, right? So a lot of content creators I just started doing this at the beginning of November last year. So I'm, by nature an introvert, so this is not something that I thought I would ever be doing, but I did want to get messaging out there about self-care, self-love, and I eventually want to write about it full time. That's a dream of mine. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a platform. I know it won't be easy, but I'm going to start. I'm going to be consistent, and I'm up for everything that goes along with that. So next, I want to discuss, what are the pros and the cons of having a 9 to 5 job? So the obvious pro is that most of us will have stability with that 9 to 5, right? You have a steady paycheck, you have some benefits like medical insurance, maybe, like a healthcare spending account, whatever. You have some kind of structure, right? Then you may have some coworkers that you like, some mentors, and then also you have predictable hours, right? I'm here at this time, I'm out at this time. And then you can clock out mentally and separate yourself from home when work is over, usually depending on what kind of job you have. A lot of times when you have professional careers, like you're an ER physician or you're an attorney, a lot of times, sometimes you may have to take your work home with you. Even teachers sometimes have to take their work home with them. So what are the cons? So the cons of being self-made is you are literally trading your time for money. So you're here 8 hours, you get this amount. You're here 10 hours, you get this amount. You're here for a week, this is your pay. All right. So that's one of the major cons. And then the second major con is there's an income ceiling, right? So your effort doesn't always match your reward, right? And then you have to follow someone else's schedule. You have to follow someone else's vision, and then someone else's goals, right? So although the 9 to 5 isn't the enemy, you have to question the environment, right? So is that environment still serving your purpose? if it's not, then you have to do some evaluation to see if you want to make some changes in your life, right? Where everything in life is about a choice. So the essence of being self-made, I want you to think of it like a box, like a square box. So the first side on that box is ownership and freedom, which we somewhat just tipped on. So you decide your hours, your clients, what you're doing, your future, right? So that's that side. You no longer wait from approval from anyone else because this is all on you. So you build your own opportunities. And then you have that second side. You have no salary caps, right? So the more value that you bring, the higher that your income ceiling is, right? And then that third side, you have creative control, right? So every idea that you have has room to grow, right? Room to take off and launch. And then you build something that feels like you, something that you're proud of. And then that last side of the box, that's the real work and the real growth that you bring. So it's not going to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? Everyone would be self-made. No one would be going to a job. It's going to have some fear for you at times. It's going to have doubt, and it's going to be a lot of grind. But I will tell you, when you have the courage to do that and you've done the preparation and planning, when you have your own, you will learn more in 6 months of building your own dream than you will in 6 years of building someone else's dream. So just think about that. When it's your own, you want to learn to elevate you, right? You're just not there to like serve another purpose that someone else has for their dream. So getting back to the main question at hand for the video, which is, can you really quit your 9 to 5? And this answer will be different for different people. So quitting your 9 to 5 really isn't the goal. You have to ask yourself, the goal is, you have to think about that. The goal is for you to build, right? It's for you to build enough value, which translates into money, enough stability, and enough confidence so you don't need the 9 to 5 job anymore. So if you have been working on that and you have like a concrete foundation for that, you may be able to leave your 9 to 5, right? So self-made doesn't mean just self alone. It means that you're literally driven by yourself. You're driven to do more, to be self-made. All right. So that drive, in short, will build the skills that you need. It allows you to stack your money. It also allows you to plan your exit, if that's what your dream is, right? So just don't jump from frustration of the job because I'm just frustrated at this job. No, do some preparedness first, right? Step from that preparation step point. Build those skills, add that value, plan your exit, right? And then pro tip, don't do something just for the money. So do something that that solves a problem or makes a difference, because money, if a lot of people will ask them like, what do you want to do? I just want to make money. Money's fleeting. As much as you're chasing money, it's going to be running away from you. Literally, you'll be chasing it and it'll be running away from you because there's always something to buy, something to do that's going to require money. So again, do something that solves a problem or makes a difference. Money will come, all right? So money follows impact, right? So every major success story started with someone who decided to fix something or someone who decided to serve someone or solve a problem. So let's think about some of the richest people in the world now. Okay, so first come to mind like people like Jeff Bezos. Okay, so in 94, Jeff Bezos started Amazon, right? And he started as an online bookstore. But he really started to make it easier for people to buy books online so they wouldn't have to leave their house. But he didn't stop there, right? He said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and think about this much bigger and a grander scale. Now, Amazon makes shopping easier and faster for everyday people so they can shop and have stuff delivered like super quickly without leaving their house, right? That is solving a problem. Also making a difference too. It's like a combo. So that that idea that he had and turned it bigger, the money flowed for him. He probably never thought he would be here. Then someone like Elon Musk, lots of money. So he didn't want to just make cars, right? He wanted to change how the world uses energy through Tesla. So of course the cars are electric, they're not gas, generated or anything like that. And then also SpaceX. So he's trying to make a difference, solve a problem as well. And then you have people like Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey turned her voice into a platform for healing, growth, and also empowerment. She made a difference for how people see themselves, right? A lot of people just gravitated to that, right? Because we hadn't had anything like that. And then you have someone like Steve Jobs, still prevalent now. Steve Jobs revolutionized how we communicate and create through Apple. So even today, you have your MacBook, you have your iPad, you have your iWatch, your Apple Watch. All of those are like synced together, communicate. You can look at people when you talk to them via FaceTime. So solved a problem, made a difference. Guess what? The company's still making lots of money. And then this is probably someone that you haven't heard of, but think about each time you go to the doctor. And no one's really using paper charts anymore. Everyone is using electronic medical records. So there's someone by the name of Judy Faulkner. She's the founder and CEO of Epic Systems, right? So it's one of the most influential medical softwares that we have in the world, right? So most likely, if you're going to your doctor, they're checking you in, you're using an app, Epic is most likely behind that, right? So it's usually, it's changed like how we, receive and perform medical care and how we check up on our lab test results, how we check up on our appointments. We can pay our co-pays through there. So again, all of these people, which are some of the richest people in the world, they did not chase a paycheck. They chased purpose. So again, if you want to be self-made, quit your 9 to 5. Don't do something for money alone. Solve a problem or make a difference. So anyway, this has been your topic on being self-made. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday and a great rest of your week. Take care and be well.